Advocate, firstly,
Yeah.
thank you for availing the time and giving us audience.
Thank you.
We think this is probably 30 years of democracy. This is probably one of the most important processes we can undertake. Because it goes to the heart of the sustainability of democracy and accountability itself.
Exactly.
Given the fact that the journey we've undertook to arrive at this point began obviously with our support for the New Nation case, which the Constitutional Court ruled on. We made submissions to the previous panel that looked at what electoral systems must look like. We were key in drafting the legislation that was a private member's bill that was tabled in Parliament that looked at how we amend the Electoral Amendment Bill.
Okay.
And naturally, we are key objectors to the current formulation that's been put on the table. Whilst there was a step in being inclusive of independence, loosely put, we felt that process was insufficient because, as you can see in the last elections, not only did independents struggle on the issues we had raised anyways, constituencies were too big.
Yeah, exactly.
I think now we have an opportunity to say, what do we aim to achieve? We want the person at home to know, I voted for party X, but I voted for Mmusi Maimane.
Okay.
Or I voted for this person.
Yes.
When the hospital is not working, or the clinic, or the police station is closed, or the school is not working, because those are jurisdictions that sit within the national framework, we want somebody to be accountable.
Yes.
Because at this stage, people say, well, sorry, the school is not working, the hospital is not working, but who do we talk to?
Yes.
So we want to give citizens the right to directly engage someone. Our submissions to your committee really hinge on three things.
Okay.
We are asking for really a multi-member constituency model.
Okay.
And we highlight that because we think in a multi-member constituency system means if you live in Johannesburg, you can eventually have 5 or 6 members of parliament, depending on how the demarcations work, so that eventually when a member votes, when a citizen votes, they know these are our members of parliament, this is my constituency, and this is who I can hold accountable. So that when people come to parliament, they are not sitting there speaking only with party hats, but they are really speaking for the citizens they represent. Then that essentially, I think, will strengthen the idea of accountability. And we hold the view that says, Uguti, then you stop having politicians who represent their own jackets, but they represent the people. The lessons from state capture were such that at the end of the day, you can buy one and get the whole party for free. And we are trying to avoid a situation where you can capture one and end up with a whole organization. We want to find a situation that even if you capture that one, the other ones still are independent because they derive their mandate from the people rather than from the party in this instance. And there are other problems that go with parties, but I won't go into all of that because I appreciate that. And we've proposed to Guti it be a mixed member, but also we retain the constitutional principle of proportionality. We are not saying that must be lost. We are saying 300 must be directly elected, 100 must be proportional.
So that those are the sums.
Yes. So that also you also allow yourself a space where you can have the representation of minorities. Which is a principle we mustn't lose. Because if you can't garner enough, let's take the Khoi and the San. The Khoi and the San must be represented in parliament. But the way to do that, they may not be able to garner enough votes to vote for a particular member of parliament. But at least on the principle of proportionality, that can be such.
So that's fine.
So we've put that on the table.
300 constituencies.
300, 100,
100,
We also think that way you keep open lists, citizens know. Because at this point in time, you can be a front. Let me take MK.
Yes.
MK came to parliament on one list they were voted for. Now that list is gone. Who did the citizens exactly vote for, if you follow my argument? And
No,
I'm
I
not here to
understand.
talk about the party.
Yeah, no, I understand.
I'm merely
The
indicating
principle.
the anomalies that occur. Citizens are told, si votele usbanban, nosbanban, nosbanban. But when the party arrives in parliament, it says, no, these ones are no longer standing. We are substituting them for those ones. That is undemocratic, let alone the legal issues that they may go into.
Yes.
We think open lists are key so that citizens know, ukuthi, before you remove Stevens, let us know why you removed the person. And obviously the issue of boundaries, etc. The second proposal I think our submission hinges on is to say we think there must be a direct election of the president.
Or the presidential
Now,
system. Okay.
now that is a constitutional amendment. I accept that point.
Yeah.
But the Constitution, in as sacred a document as it is, I think it was drafted perhaps with Mandela in mind.
Yes.
And it fell short of recognizing that we must draft constitutions that prepare us for the worst of us and the best of us. With that in mind, I think if we were able to, and South Africa is an anomaly in this regard, because SADC, Zimbabwe, Zambia, all hold electoral systems where there's a direct election of the president. Because then we stop all of us watching a party conference praying, oh, let them elect the president we want. It's not our business. The party can choose whoever it likes.
Yeah.
But let the citizens then go to the ballot to express, we want to vote for Mmusi Maimane or this one or that one, so that we are clear that that person works for us, not for the party. So we are making that proposal.
Yes.
And then the last proposal, I think, and there are substantive issues why
Okay.
we make the proposal.
That's
The
excellent.
last principle speaks really to the formalization of coalition agreements. We
Okay.
hold the view, as is the case in Kenya, as a
Okay.
case study.
Yeah.
Chairperson, I think you'll see we've made our case and research it
Okay.
across the continent, etc.
Excellent.
But you'll appreciate that the Kenya have passed a law that allows the formalization of agreements and held in such a way that they are binding on all parties. This idea that you saw in municipalities where there are revolving doors.
Yes.
This week you have a mayor, you know the joke now is that if you don't like the current mayor of Tshwane, wait 3 months. The next one is coming. It'll be true in Joburg. We can't have that, particularly at a national level. We need structures that formalize coalition agreements so that we can hold people accountable. So, Slalo, an advocate, those are our submissions. And we put this document together for you so that the commission the panel can duly consider our submissions. Nazoke tatwa. Nanzoke.
Thank you very much, Mongameli. I'm not going to say anything much. Thanks for coming, and thanks for respecting the process and coming forward here. Just 3 things that I would like to say to you is that we are in a process, really, as you say, after 30 years of electoral design. We are designing a new system for the country. Done well, we can get properly elected people. We've got a democracy that participates. We get an economy that grows. We got leadership that is accountable and responsive. Done badly, we've got a civil war. We've got corruption. We've got everything else we have also experienced in Africa. So we would want to do this very well. Finally, our mandate is actually quite nice for us. I think I'm happy to have my surname attached to it, because our report in terms of the law is that we do not choose a particular system for the country. We take from the study, from the inputs, submissions that are made by you, we present them to Parliament with the reasons, the advantages and disadvantages, the legal implications, and also the financial implications. Even among ourselves, there is no minority or majority. If we disagree on a matter, we must record both views to go to Parliament. And finally, to say to that point, we've also been told we are not limited to what is in the Constitution. So parties can make recommendations that they can indicate, like they're indicating, that this one goes against the Constitution. We will report that and we'll get lawyers, of course, to certify that. And then when it appears before you, if Parliament agrees with the idea and wants to amend the Constitution, they'll be allowed to do that. So that is really our mandate. Our real mandate is consultation, public participation, getting the models from the people like we now have got. I mean, this is a clear model that we can follow, and then we can propose it, and it will be for Parliament to do that. On the 31st of May, 2025, we will make our submissions.
All right. Nosihlalo Ndiyabulela.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Advocate. I'm appreciative of your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Excuse me, Advocate, sorry. There's just been a request from the media who would like to pose some questions to the Advocate here.
To me? Okay.
Yeah? And
That's
then,
fine.
To Mmusi Maimane will be outside.
Okay.
Just remain.
Okay, that's fine.
You guys can have a go.
Okay. With from the SABC, I just wanted to find out, in terms of the composition of the 9-member committee, there have been concerns about the inclusion, or actually the majority of the people in that committee being from the IEC. How independent then does that make the committee, or will you find yourselves being more worried about how things are implemented, the logistics of particular proposals, as opposed to just generally looking at it from a broad perspective first? There have been concerns about that.
Okay. Yes, we've had concerns about the fact that most of the panel is people of my age. I'm around 65. So that there has been a complaint about the age. But there has also been a complaint about the exclusion of civil society. Then, of course, there has been this issue of the IEC. The Parliament's response on the issue of civil society was that we don't want people who have already made a view or a principled or strong views on this matter. We want people who have some expertise, constitutional law expertise, administration and management of elections, and understand the history of the country and so on. So that is why we were then chosen on that basis. The issue of the IEC is that in the principles that we have put in place, and even in doing, Mr. Maimane, the sums, we actually get the data and the information of what happens in a particular model in 2029. In 2019, what happened to the elections that we had in 2024, and so on. They are able to provide us with that information. And then we're able, in some of the sums, if, for instance, we're looking at, let's for instance, make an example now. We have 18 members of parliament there, and we put in, we suggest, so should it be one of the things that is suggested, a threshold. And it immediately tells us that there will be 4 parties left, and another 14 out. So what the IEC does, it helps us to deal with those matters. What they also help us with is actually, we do need the data. For instance, what kind of a ballot it should be. In a place like Congo, you get about 300 pages ballot. And we have had here the issue of the ballot for national. We have also the proportional for in the provinces, what Mr. Maimane correctly said, that for independence, it was too wide and so on. And then we and then of course now we've got the issue of people who were voting abroad but only voting for the national party side, not for independence, and independents now are complaining about those things. So when we talk about those things, when we talk about manageability, we do get that information from them, from the experience. And when we ask for current data of all these things, we do get that information. So to us, they are more of a resource than an information, because our modeling is actually going to keep based on what Mr. Maimane has put today in, and what people have complained about the current system, and which is not hidden. All the things that he has said about party bosses being in control. We can't hide. The IEC can't force us to change it. And we don't have to take a decision. We will again put it back to Parliament. But we actually do need them for the issue of functionality and manageability of the elections. Other principles, of course, that we are using are principles like inclusivity, gender involvement, the issues of simplicity because of the nature of the understanding of what people, the issue of accountability, which Mr. Maimane has emphasized quite a lot. So that those were the things that but we don't think that they can dominate us, because again, if they put a view, we can put it in and report it to Parliament. They will have to argue it.
Sure.
Thank you, Natasha. Yes.
I just roughly wanted to know how many submissions has the panel received roughly so far, but also with the extension that you've made to the 31st of October. Do you think a lot of people actually know about this process?
They do help me, and some either, and also interestingly, people who were in the DA and are now outside the DA are the ones who are actually helping to understand. Tonight I'm having a very big webinar in KZN organized by Mbali and so on to deal with that. We have now, in terms of emails that have been emailed, we have gone over 300 of the emails. What we are doing now, which is still happening, and it was still around 150. People are like Mr. Maimane are also sending them here. Others have sent them by mail, but others have put them in the offices of the Home Affairs, wherever Home Affairs is nearer to them. That is the list that we are still waiting for it to come. But those that have gone to the ECRCP at dha.gov.za, we've got about over 300 emails that have come in.
Thank you.
Sure. Everybody covered? Yes. Okay. Thank you so much. There was a request for another pick of the handover, but we'll do that outside, my brother.
Okay.
We'll do that ceremonial picks outside.
Okay.
I think let's get moving. So next step is that our Honorable Maimane will go outside and just address some of the public and supporters who's gathered. And then we'll